Have you ever heard the word tantra and wondered what it actually means? For many people, the first time they hear about tantric sex, it sounds mysterious, almost mystical. Some imagine secret rituals or complicated spiritual practices that take years to master. Others think it's simply a fancy name for sex that lasts a very long time. But the truth is much simpler and much more powerful. I remember the first time I heard the word tantra many years ago. At the time, I didn't really understand what it meant. I only knew it had something to do with sexuality and intimacy. And like many men who want to become better lovers, I felt curious. I wanted to learn more. I wanted to understand what made tantric intimacy different and why people who practiced it spoke about it as something life-changing. That curiosity eventually led me down a path that I never expected. I ended up living inside a tantric community for several years. During that time, I had the opportunity to study ancient teachings, observe couples practicing tantra, and experience the philosophy behind it firsthand. Those years completely transformed my understanding of intimacy, connection, and pleasure. My name is Dr. Eva Danial, the men's health expert, and today I want to open the door to the real world of tantric intimacy. I want to explain what tantric sex actually is, why it feels so different from traditional sex, and why many people say it creates deeper connection, stronger relationships, and a much more powerful experience for both partners. Most importantly, I want you to understand something from the beginning. Tantra is not reserved for spiritual gurus or people who have spent decades meditating in the mountains. The essence of Tantra can be experienced by anyone who is willing to slow down, become present, and approach intimacy in a different way. When most people think about sex, they imagine a very specific sequence of events. Attraction leads to arousal. Arousal leads to stimulation. Stimulation leads to penetration. And the final goal is orgasm. Once that goal is reached, the experience ends. This pattern has become so normal in modern culture that most people never question it. For many couples, sex becomes a race toward climax. The entire experience is focused on reaching that final moment as quickly as possible. Tantra approaches intimacy from a completely different perspective. In traditional sexual encounters, almost all attention is focused on the genitals. The majority of stimulation happens there, the majority of sensation happens there, and the orgasm is concentrated there as well. For men especially, sexual arousal is often treated as something that exists almost entirely in that one area of the body. Tantra expands this idea dramatically. Instead of viewing the genitals as the center of pleasure, tantric philosophy views the entire body as capable of experiencing deep sensation and pleasure. Every part of the body becomes part of the experience. The skin, the breath, the eyes, the emotional connection, even the silence between two people can become part of the intimacy. When people first hear this, it might sound abstract, but it becomes very real once you experience it. Imagine shifting your focus away from rushing toward a specific physical outcome and instead becoming aware of every sensation throughout your body. The warmth of your partner's skin, the rhythm of your breathing, the subtle emotional energy that builds when two people remain fully present with each other. This is one of the first transformations that Tantra introduces. Instead of concentrating pleasure in a single location, it distributes pleasure throughout the entire body. For many men, this can feel unfamiliar at first. Men are often conditioned to think of arousal as something that happens quickly and intensely in a very focused way. Tantra teaches the body to awaken more slowly and more completely. That means touching the entire body, not just the areas that are traditionally considered sexual. The shoulders, the back, the neck, the arms, the legs, the face, the hair. When attention spreads across the body, sensitivity begins to expand. At first, the sensations might seem subtle, but over time the body becomes more responsive. Areas that once felt neutral begin to feel alive. Pleasure begins to spread instead of remaining concentrated in one place. One of the biggest misunderstandings about tantric intimacy is the belief that it requires complicated rituals or years of spiritual training. In reality, The core ideas are surprisingly simple. The first principle is awareness. Tantra asks you to become fully present with your partner and with your own body. Instead of letting your mind rush ahead toward the goal, you remain connected to what is happening right now. You notice the rhythm of your breathing. You notice the warmth of skin against skin. You notice the subtle emotional connection that forms when two people truly pay attention to each other. Most people move through intimacy almost automatically. Their minds wander. They think about performance. They worry about how long things will last. They wonder whether their partner is satisfied. All of that mental noise pulls attention away from the experience itself. Tantric practice invites you to return to the moment. The second principle is the absence of a goal. This might sound surprising because modern sexual culture emphasizes results. Orgasm becomes the final objective. Everything leading up to it is simply preparation for that moment. Tantra changes that mindset completely. In tantric intimacy, orgasm is not the goal. It may happen, and when it does, it can feel incredibly powerful. But it is not the destination that defines the experience. Instead, the entire journey becomes the experience. Let me share a story that illustrates this idea. During the years when I was living in Asia, I spent quite a bit of time in Indonesia. Bali became one of the places where I lived for a while. If you've ever traveled there, you probably know that nearby islands are famous for something extraordinary: the Komodo dragons. These ancient creatures exist almost nowhere else in the world, and seeing them in their natural environment is considered one of the most incredible wildlife experiences you can have. For years I had heard about them, and eventually some friends organized a trip so we could finally visit the islands where they live. Now, I have to admit something about myself. I am not someone who enjoys planning trips. I'm usually the person who simply joins the adventure after someone else organizes it. So my friends planned the itinerary, and I just went along with it. When they explained the plan, I realized we were going to spend an entire week exploring different islands, beaches, and marine life before actually seeing the Komodo dragons. At first I thought, that's fine, but the real reason I'm here is to see the dragons. But during that week, something unexpected happened. We visited a pink beach with sand that looked almost unreal. We went snorkeling in crystal clear water and saw sea turtles gliding slowly through the ocean. We swam near reef sharks and watched massive manta rays moving gracefully beneath us. At night, we watched thousands of bats leave their island to hunt, filling the sky in a breathtaking display. And yes, eventually we saw the Komodo dragons. But when I looked back on the entire trip, I realized something surprising. Seeing the dragons was actually the least memorable part of the experience. All the other moments, the unexpected beauty, the shared laughter with friends, the quiet sunsets, those became the memories that stayed with me. If I had rushed straight to the goal, if I had focused only on seeing the dragons, I would have missed everything else. Tantric intimacy works the same way. When you stop chasing the final outcome, you begin to notice the beauty of every step along the journey. The third principle of Tantra is relaxation. This is another major difference from traditional sexual habits. When people are trying to reach orgasm quickly, the body naturally begins to tense. Muscles tighten, breathing becomes faster or shallower, and the entire system moves toward a peak of intensity. That tension helps create a quick climax, but it also limits how much sensation the body can experience. Tantra does the opposite. Instead of building tension, it encourages relaxation. Breathing becomes slower and deeper. Muscles soften. The body remains open rather than contracting. When the body relaxes, something remarkable happens. Sensitivity increases. Energy flows more freely. Pleasure becomes more expansive and less concentrated. Many people describe this as the difference between a spark and a warm, glowing fire. One burns quickly and disappears. The other spreads slowly and fills the entire space with warmth. Another reason relaxation is so important is that it allows intimacy to last longer without effort. In traditional encounters, tension often pushes the body quickly toward climax. When relaxation replaces tension, the experience naturally slows down. This does not mean forcing yourself to last longer through willpower or mental distraction. Instead, the body simply remains comfortable in the experience without rushing toward an ending. When this happens, intimacy can become something much richer than a short physical interaction. It becomes an exchange of energy, emotion, and connection. One of the most fascinating things I observed during my years studying Tantra was the change it created in relationships. Couples who practiced these principles often reported something very different from the typical pattern many relationships fall into. Instead of intimacy becoming routine or predictable, it remained exciting and emotionally meaningful. Women often described feeling more connected and more desired because the focus was not just on physical stimulation, but on emotional presence. Men frequently described feeling less pressure and more enjoyment because the experience was not defined by performance. This shift can transform how couples relate to each other. Instead of intimacy being something that happens quickly at the end of a long day, it becomes a shared experience that strengthens emotional bonds. Another powerful aspect of Tantra is the way it influences energy levels. Many men are familiar with the feeling of exhaustion after conventional sex. The body releases tension, the nervous system relaxes, and there is often a strong desire to sleep. Tantric experiences can feel very different because the body remains relaxed and breathing stays deep and steady. The experience often leaves people feeling energized rather than depleted. Some men describe feeling more creative, more focused, and more emotionally open afterward. This is one reason Tantra has been associated for centuries with vitality and life energy. It does not drain the body. Instead, it seems to circulate energy throughout the entire system. Another element that makes tantric intimacy unique is eye contact. Looking into your partner's eyes during moments of closeness may sound simple, but it can create an incredibly powerful connection. Eye contact activates emotional pathways in the brain. It creates vulnerability, trust, and a sense of being truly seen by another person. In many modern encounters, people avoid prolonged eye contact because it feels intense. Tantra embraces that intensity. When two people maintain eye contact while breathing slowly together, the emotional connection deepens in ways that are difficult to describe until you experience it. Breath itself is another essential component. In tantric practice, breathing becomes synchronized between partners. Slow inhalations and exhalations create a shared rhythm. This shared rhythm calms the nervous system and increases awareness of the present moment. You might think of it as two people tuning into the same frequency. The more their breathing and attention align, the stronger the sense of connection becomes. Touch also changes in tantric intimacy. Instead of focusing only on stimulation that leads directly to climax, touch becomes exploratory and attentive. Hands move slowly, pressure varies, attention shifts across the entire body. Every touch becomes an opportunity to notice sensation rather than rushing toward the next step. This slower pace allows anticipation to build naturally. Anticipation is one of the most powerful elements of pleasure. When moments unfold gradually, the body has time to respond more fully. Over time, couples who practice Tantra often discover something surprising. Pleasure begins to expand beyond the boundaries they once believed were fixed. Men who previously experienced pleasure only in a very focused way begin to feel waves of sensation throughout the body. Women often report feeling more emotionally connected and more physically responsive. Both partners discover that intimacy can be much richer than they originally imagined. It is also important to understand that Tantra is not about perfection. You do not need to follow strict rules or achieve some mystical level of mastery before you can experience its benefits. The most important step is simply slowing down and becoming present with your partner. If you focus on breathing together, touching with attention, maintaining eye contact, and letting go of the need to rush toward an outcome. You have already begun practicing the essence of Tantra. One of the most beautiful aspects of this approach is that it invites curiosity. Instead of repeating the same routine every time, couples begin to explore new ways of connecting. Sometimes that means spending more time on touch and closeness before anything else happens. Sometimes it means simply lying together and breathing in sync. Sometimes it means allowing the experience to unfold without any expectation at all. This openness creates space for genuine connection. And when genuine connection exists, intimacy becomes something much more meaningful than a physical act. It becomes an expression of trust, affection, and shared presence. As a men's health expert, I have worked with many men who initially believed that being a great lover meant learning techniques or improving physical performance. While those things can play a role, the deeper truth is that emotional presence and awareness often matter far more. When a man learns to slow down, listen to his partner's responses, and remain fully engaged in the moment, intimacy naturally becomes more satisfying for both people. Tantric principles encourage exactly that. They remind us that the body is capable of experiencing much more than we usually allow ourselves to feel. They remind us that connection is just as important as stimulation. At its heart, Tantra is about presence, connection, and awareness. It is about recognizing that intimacy is not a race to the finish line, but a journey filled with moments worth savoring. When you slow down, breathe deeply, relax your body, and allow yourself to experience every sensation fully, something extraordinary begins to happen. Pleasure expands,